All right, nice. Yeah, this is a little different doing the midweek pod compared to usually it's on Friday, but little schedule change here. How's the week off to?
It's busy. I got some family in town, so it's just trying to be as most effective with my time. So just trying to stack
Nice.
all the work in so the afternoons I can be free. So we'll see,
Same.
but it's good. Just yeah, I mean, I have a lot of production work, but then got a lot of meetings, but then a lot of heavy meetings days. It's like that production work becomes like, oh crap, I do actually have a lot of work to do.
No
So
doubt about it.
yeah,
I
but
kind of like
no,
the
it's
shorter
good.
weeks though because it makes you like dial in a little bit. I got the half marathon this weekend, so I'm off Friday.
Ooh,
We're traveling for it. So with
nice.
that with that topic in mind, I know we were chatting about the Boston Marathon. Um, the guy who won it, John Courier, I don't even know how you pronounce his name, but he won it back to back years. And same with the woman who won on the women's side, Sharon. They won back to back years, and his time was 2 hours and 1 minute. Her time was 2:18. 2:01 pace is a 4 minute 4 minute 37 second per minute per mile pace. 2:18 is 5 minutes 16 second. So 5:16 pace, 4:37 pace for 26.2 miles. That is just like I don't know how it's possible.
That's insane. You know what's funny? On the same course I saw, was it this past week? There was a race. I think it was in China. It was a half marathon that robots and humans ran together.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Like the robots made
Uh,
some progress on timing.
yeah, it was actually not bad. I think their fastest pace for the robot was like, God, I want to say it wasn't too bad, like at all. Like they came in, I think, at 2 hours or something like
Something
that.
like that, yeah.
Or
Like it wasn't
yeah,
like an insane record time, but it was like a really solid time.
yeah, yeah. So robots are coming offline. We'll see. And coming online,
I
but
think that's what we're progressing towards there.
yeah, dude, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Who did I hear talking about that recently in a podcast? Somebody was talking about that. Oh my god, I can't think of it. Oh, David Freeberg. I saw he went on Chris Williams' podcast, and he was talking about which I'm like I'm not excited for that whatsoever. But he was basically talking about like in the near future, everybody's going to own a robot, and everybody's going to have a robot in their house, and the robot's going to fold their laundry and do their dishes and do all this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, he's just talking about it like so excited for the future, and I'm like, that sounds terrible. That literally
Yeah,
sounds terrible. I think the whole concept of like, yeah, give me a robot to fold my laundry, to do my dishes, to do my yard work, to do all this. It's like, okay, and then AI is just going to do everything. It's like, what do we even? I don't know. I feel like I'm a little bit more old school in my perspective there. Like I feel like you doing tasks, even some that you don't like, gives you perspective in life and makes you appreciate good times even more. And I don't know, it just makes you feel like more useful as a human and like figuring things out and like accomplishing things. You just have like an AI agent doing everything online for you, and then you got a robot folding your laundry. It's like, what do you? So you could sit there and watch TikTok videos. Like, what is that even? I don't know. I was not super thrilled about it. It was just like very interesting to hear how
yeah.
enthusiastic.
I think that's probably like a side effect of like I don't know purpose or something that people are gonna have to figure out. I'm not 100% sure how that's gonna work, but we'll have to see. But I'm looking through my Twitter feed, a little bit of a random one, but I did see this come across an hour ago through Raw's alerts that President Trump is expected to finalize a deal with Iran. Or not with Iran. Sorry, it was the other one. Not Iran. I don't care about that anymore because who knows if that's wherever that's going to go. It was about reclassifying marijuana.
Oh, I did see that. That's supposed
It
to
was
happen.
just like an hour or two ago. Yeah, 2 hours ago, President Trump is expected to move forward with plans to reclassify marijuana to a less restrictive lower level that recognizes medical use and reduces strict penalties. That's crazy when when that's going to happen. Do you own any marijuana, cannabis stocks at all?
I do not know.
Yeah, I got one I picked up a little bit ago. It's up like 20% today.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's gonna rip.
Yeah, we'll have to see where it goes. I mean, that's always been the bet a while back, but I know what over the weekend he did some ibogaine stuff as well,
I did see that
which
there, and gonna try and
which
fast track that in the FDA and everything.
which I think those are all good things. There's a lot of unexplored things. I think a lot of positive benefits out of it. But on the marketing side for like the cannabis stuff, That's going to be really interesting how that plays out because I mean the cannabis stuff is just has a lot of restrictions. Even a colleague, I haven't talked to him in a while. He posted on LinkedIn, so I don't mind sharing it. But he works with not distributors, but the shops. What are they called?
Dispensaries?
Yeah, sorry, dispensaries. And
I
so he does
I think
marketing
I know who
for
you're
'em.
talking about too.
Yeah,
SEO guy.
yeah. It's funny because I don't know if I worked with him years and years ago together. Anyways, we'll connect afterwards. It's the same person, but their bank account got shut down for a payment that was sent from a vendor. Like
Damn.
it was just like them sending them a like for their services. So they got a payment from a dispensary and their bank account said, "Sorry, we're out." There's one payment, and he had been with them for years.
Damn.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness, that's so tough.
that'd be such a headache to have to go through. But I mean, obviously, it's not going to do anything sweeping right now. But I think there's a lot of logistics side on the marketing for people to be really interesting to see. Maybe eventually Google's going to let them do local ads. You know,
You
someone
you would
searching for,
figure.
you know, I don't think Google's going to mind because you know why? They're going to get more money.
Exactly. That's a whole new revenue stream right there. And I know the person that we were talking about. I chatted with him previously, and I thought it was interesting the strategy of they do SEO and they targeted a lot of like dispensaries and like the marijuana space, and then I forget what else, but I think it was also like tobacco and liquor and stuff like that. But basically, the thought process being like some of those industries that you cannot do paid in. I think it was like I forget what it was. It was like definitely marijuana. It might have been tobacco and maybe something
Maybe
else.
firearms too.
Might have been
Like,
firearms, something like
yeah.
that. But that
Anything
was
the
kind of like
ATF's
their
going to want to get
niche
into, or yeah, or the DEA. Yeah, yeah.
to do SEO. I'm like, huh, that's pretty smart because like they would have to rely on like text, email, and SEO pretty much if you can't be doing anything paid wise.
Dude, even text and emails got some regulations around that too.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's like,
Dude, you get
yeah,
into payment processors and all sorts of stuff. Um, yeah, it's a very, very hard thing to navigate through. Dude, at one point in time, I think I had another agency side of ours that I was working with, ranking like in top three for like CBD marketing agency, um, and talking to these individuals with the CBD brands. So many different regulations where I'm like, dude, there's not much options, but everybody's looking for that gray hat tactic that might work. How can you float around in Meta and Facebook and get away with it for a while, or SEO doing some super aggressive stuff because I don't care at the end of the day. Um, yeah. I actually just saw Rand on LinkedIn. He was doing I think a interview with Danny Sullivan, but he had talked about like his stance on, let me just make sure I get it right. His stance on, should you do any sort of manipulation with, let me pull this up, manipulation of like AI ranking stuff. And, typically had been all very much white hat type items. Like, yeah, should you spam AI tools? I haven't read the whole thing. This is kind of headline reading, so I could maybe completely got this wrong. Um, but he says for 20 years I've been staunch proponent of white hat only. Now that Google and the rest of big tech has proven themselves to be far more evil than black hat SEOs ever was, I say screw them. As long as it doesn't hurt you and your business, you have no responsibility to be ethical towards giant corporations that would never return the favor. So it's a clip from Danny Goodwin, excuse me, on Search Engine Land, not Danny Sullivan, excuse me. That was a clip from Rand through it all, which, dude, I am on the same page. It's hard for us selling services to do these things for our clients, but if clients have like the thumbs up and go ahead, then that's fine. Like as an individual business owner, I think those are decisions that you can take and do. But yeah, dude, Google, they don't, I mean, we've talked about this before, but Google doesn't, they're not government. They don't they don't have your back. None of the government does either. But you know what I'm saying? Like, why not? Why not fuck with the system?
did they mention any tactics there?
So it was like spam listicle articles, spamming, Reddit sub threads, etc., which are all valid tactics to do. But I just kind of was calling that out.
I feel like those aren't like super shady. It's more like kind of a strategy to game the system there a little bit. I haven't looked into it too much. Like I haven't seen any data, but I have heard the whole listicle stuff that was popping up on LLMs that were like doing really well. Apparently, that's not doing as well anymore.
Yeah, that's what some people say on it all. They'll crack down on mention, but dude, honestly, this is the same tactic or same thing. What is it? History doesn't repeat but rhymes. This is stuff that SEOs have been doing for a long ass time. We figure out a vulnerability, we exploit it, they crack down on it, we find another vulnerability, we crack down on it, and then we kind of rinse and repeat and we do different things. It's more on the aggressive side of all. But I don't think there's anything like that on the paid side, right? You kind of really have to play by their rules in those platforms, right? Is there any
For the most
hacks?
part, I
Yeah.
haven't really like nothing that really comes top of mind there because they are pretty strict with some stuff. Yeah, like
Such a different mindset. That's funny.
nothing really comes to mind. Like there's definitely like some schemy ways of like using influencers and stuff like that. Of like I don't know, like I'm sure there's been plenty of like influencers that have got paid that haven't disclosed it, but like thinking more so from like a Google Ads perspective or like Meta ads or LinkedIn ads, like it's a whole different ball game. You know, like a lot of that's like super regulated on their end, where like they don't mess around. Like if you even have multiple URLs within the same ad account, like you're gonna get shut down. Like there's not. You can maybe get away with some like I don't know, like aggressive ad copy language against like your competitors and like the landing pages that you send to, some stuff like that. But like nothing super schemy that I can really think of.
Yeah. I mean, I know Meta has, I saw a stat somewhere that Meta cracked down on a bunch of spam accounts
I
on the ads perspective.
could
Because
totally
if
see
you think
that.
about that on like on Instagram ads or, like that, I feel like is where maybe people find some loopholes where they're like not legitimate companies and they're selling some sort of like resold product that's shipped overseas and it's not what you normally get, etc. Um, or you're using someone else's likeness, like the Joe Rogan fake product um, ads. I think almost everybody has seen those are celebrity ads. I think that's probably as far as you can go, right?
Just like scheming of like some AI fake stuff of like this person's like endorsing the product or something like that.
Yeah,
That's probably a good call.
yeah, but there's nothing really else, I guess, on the paid side you can like, I don't know, mess with the system.
Talking about paid, and you mentioned Meta. I'm trying to see if I can find this data point here. Um,
There's a Chat GPT offering cost per clicks.
no, no, no. We could chat
Uh,
about that, but it
Can't
said
read your
that
mind.
there was. Let me see this. Time to play. So, Stacked Marketer newsletter said that Google's been pretty much forever in like the ad game. Google's been like the king in terms of like overall revenue. And then apparently Meta is on track to claim more global ad spend than Google in 2026. So this year they're on track. 20 so in terms of like total overall global ad spend, Meta would sit at they're on pace for 2026 this year to have 26.8% of that total overall spend compared to Google at 26.4. So 26.8 versus 26.4, very close there. But yeah, like really interesting to see that. Like Google's been that top dog forever. And that also counts like YouTube revenue in like Google's mix there as well. But
Yeah.
it's wild that like Meta just continues to crank out ad placements and like Instagram and Facebook ads like just still work. Like it's
I
still
would be really curious on that breakdown between Instagram and Facebook, the revenue. Because I just feel strongly Facebook skews so much older. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I mean, I guess it's based on what you're selling. Like, where do they make their more of their money? Is it on Meta
no clue.
ads or is it Instagram ads?
I don't know. But I don't know. But I also like what would you even because I don't know, maybe like thing something that comes to
Well,
mind would be like an older audience is like more likely to like purchase from an ad, like more gullible, like more easily influenced.
no, for sure, for sure. But now I'm also thinking that is it fair to compare Google's number? It does include YouTube, so maybe it is. But Meta, I look at it's. I don't like how they lump Meta together with Instagram and Facebook. It's totally two separate marketplaces.
It seriously is,
Yet
yeah.
your tool is your ad. It's kind of fucking weird, actually. Like when you log in and you're just running ads, it's like it goes across both channels, and it's like considers them the same, but they're
I've never
drastically
really thought
different.
about it like that, but it's so true. And now you also have threads in there, so it's really like three channels. Like
Sure,
threads is
threads,
definitely not as
ads.
much, but
I mean, you
it's
ever look
three.
at a placement report? You can see a lot of differences depending
Oh, for
on certain
sure.
things. Um, so I don't know if it's fair. Like, shouldn't you maybe break up like Facebook and then Instagram revenue and see what that totals are, and then compare individually to Google? Maybe it looks like Meta's not number one because that's where I feel like Google is still number one.
Oh, for
Meta is
sure.
just
When you
lucky to
put it
be
like
number
that,
one.
yeah.
Yeah. But then at the same time, I don't know if Google's numbers, they also include YouTube, right? And YouTube is Huge
Exactly.
amount around. But then also Meta include WhatsApp too. Like that's in there too.
Yep.
They have ads on there as well. So it's like it truly doesn't. I guess from a marketer's perspective, it's like it doesn't truly show like the individual channels. Because like when we do Google Ads for clients, it's not like we automatically go into YouTube every time, or have specific YouTube campaigns for it all. So yeah, I guess I would like that more granular data to, I don't know, pontificate on, if that's the right word.
What would you guess the total spend? I'm talking about global spend is in 2026, like what it's projected to be.
I would have no idea.
No
Billions.
idea if this is true, but it looks like there's a couple different articles um, that make projections here. Over $1 trillion. $1.26 trillion is what Statista is estimating in 2026. Sue says global ad spend set to surpass 1 trillion for the first time. So yeah, $1 trillion in total global ad spend. LinkedIn says 1.3 trillion. That's just so crazy. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be $1 trillion in ad spend.
Wow, it's a lot
Yeah,
of
pretty
money.
much. It's a lot of
Yeah,
money.
I mean, people are going to want at least a 3x ROAS, right? If not more.
A lot of
So
money.
it should produce what, $4 trillion of revenue,
Yeah, that's like no joke.
unless you're doing programmatic. Just joking. Dang, that's funny. That's a lot of money to be spending,
Yeah,
and
that's no
then
joke.
people don't. It's just that's just unpaid too, and just ads, not necessarily management fees. Other platforms out there, yeah, that's a lot of revenue dollars.
Yeah, I was gonna say think about like the agency fees that are on top of that. Like other services included with like website builds, SEO. It's like just so much money in that space. It's like incredible.
Yeah, and I know ChatGPT. I saw an article. I think it was probably on Stack Marketer too. They had launched a cost per click program. It was like $3 to $5 per cost per click on ChatGPT, but still no fucking tracking, dude. Like that's wild.
I know. Apparently, they're building out an ads manager platform like for
Just
a while there.
vibe code that shit, man. Like how hard can it be?
It's so telling, you know.
I don't know. And they launched, what is it? It's funny. I was watching the live podcast yesterday, or live stream of them launching their new image generator, Image 2.0 or something like that. They launched that, and they launched today. What do they call it? They launched their own bots. Workspace agents. That's a whole nother thing where you can have something reoccurring. So it's kind of seems like they're trying to get into more of the agents space, like Claude's done and things like that. So they're behind the curve, but I don't know. We'll see how this all
Sachs
works.
made a really good point on the All In podcast about Anthropic really kind of like going towards like an enterprise clientele, and like that was their main focus is like enterprise, where OpenAI early on focused on consumer and like their consumer model and just like individuals. And he made a good point. It's like, dude, there's just like only so many people out there that are going to be willing to spend $20 a month and be like pro users of your platform. Whereas if you optimize towards enterprise level size clients, significantly higher, monthly fees, and then like, tokens that you're going to charge for as well, and all of those things. Um, Basically making the case that like that could be a massive um like mishap in strategy off the start there of like attacking consumers versus like enterprise and just like consumer or just like a business based customers, which makes a ton of sense there. So I could totally see ChatGPT trying to make a pivot. We use Claude for our business, and I don't know, big fan.
Huh. Yeah, we started with ChatGPT early, so we have everything kind of nested in there. And it's helpful, but you got to just be careful with, it just ChatGPT for sure just tries to over satisfy users itself. Yeah, dude. It's interesting too because I'm seeing more and more instances with client communications or work that's AI generated. Like you can just tell, blatantly. And that's okay because maybe the strategies aren't completely horrible, but they still need a human filter to come through. As long as it's not like creating like redundant work, I'm okay with it. But we are in a little bit of that wild west, even just like client management, client strategy. and they're using AI on their end too. So it's like, how does it work? As long as the two AIs are just like talking to each other, it's like, what's the point? Then
I
like, why
know.
are we here?
Jack mentioned this on an interview I listened to with him recently, but he said that's going to be a really like beneficial thing like in your career and like a differentiator as an employee is like you definitely need to be AI native and use all of these tools. But what's going to differentiate like top performers versus like mid level to bottom performers is the ability to like decipher what the output was. So like using an AI tool to produce whatever output, whatever task you're working on, but then having your critical thinking skills to be able to like decipher here's some bits that I want to use from this output. I don't like these. I'll pull from this X, Y, and Z. But having the ability to like critically think and analyze that output is going to be a big differentiating factor. Because to your point, I've seen it a ton with people creating slides or like briefs, and it's clear like they just copy and paste it and sent it to you and just like didn't even read it. And honestly, like it's that creates so much more of a frustration and a headache because it's like, dude, like it's honestly like just almost like a disrespectful thing of like you don't even like value my time because you just sent me some slop that you didn't even put an effort to like QA yourself and like review the work. And it's like, what am I even? And then too, like a lot of like the outputs, like the dashes, the lines, the bolded text, it's just so obvious when you're getting that. And like I use it every day in pretty much all things that I do, and it's great, but you need to like QA and be like, you know what? I actually don't think this makes any sense based off my experience, or I think we could refine this a little bit. But it was interesting that Jack even said that of like, this is one of the more critical things that you got to focus on is making sure that you have the ability to like critically think basically on that output.
I wonder if you could just like skip 4 year college and do like a 6 month year course in like AI prompt engineering, how to look at it, critical thinking, and you'll be fine. Maybe there's some sort of specialization you go into, but it's probably more valuable at this point.
You probably can, you know what I mean? Because you got to think like, especially for like an entry level position, a lot of times it's like reporting or like data cleanup or just basic blocking and tackling type stuff. You could prompt your way through that. But then having the ability to like make that like much better, that critical thinking piece for sure is what you would need to learn and figure that out.
I'm just thinking like outside of like, well, maybe not, but like outside of like doctor or engineer or something like, or a history teacher, um, that is very college specific. Like like if you're just joining like the normal workforce, like your time spent going through all these different classes doing these things, you're going to be using ChatGPT probably most likely now. It's like, why do you even skip in? Like, why do you even know the subject matter? Like, the AI knows it. You just need to know how to manipulate it and work through it. I think that's going to be a really big change in higher education in that sense.
I just don't know how like that is all how college and universities are going to pan out.
I don't
You
know
know,
either. I really don't know. Like, depending on like what you want to study or what to be or what to do, college is probably not the right choice for you.
yeah, to your point, like doctors and stuff like that, like I get it because like you're also going to get put in a situation where you have like hands-on experience, like in a hospital setting, whatever. But like, dude, I remember like I was like a business administration degree. Like, couldn't tell you a single thing I learned from my
My
degree.
degree, same thing. I had a marketing degree, and it's like it taught me how to wake up early and like get things done, someone done. But I don't like the subject matter was completely obsolete by the time I got
Exactly.
out of college.
Probably great
Like,
experience to you learn life skills and social skills of how to,
but
you
I
know,
think you could
interact
do
with
that other
people.
ways and be a lot more successful without the debt. You
And
know,
you also got to think too, like, especially my generation and probably like starting at yours, but like your generation to mine and a little bit pre me, like we went through absurd amounts of like college debt. You know, like people paying 50 plus $1,000 a year for college debt. Majority of people coming out like 100 to 200 to $300,000 in debt
for
to get a job that pays you 50K so that you could just pay back the loans that you just got for the rest of your life. And I think a lot of people have been burned by that, and rightfully so. And it just like, wait, this makes no sense at all. Like, why did everybody just do that? So then you got to think those people who got burned are now seeing AI be like, why would we then put our kids through the same thing? It's like, I don't know how that continues on and on and on as is. without major changes to like the pricing model of like colleges and universities.
Dude, they must be
Like
freaking out, dude. The amount of money they used to get, or like I higher education, like, dude, they have to be freaking out.
because this was a narrative that was in place before AI, like a lot of people were even I remember before AI, especially like before
They started
COVID,
to see
people
through
were
the
thinking about
bullshit.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
then COVID came and people were like maybe trades are a little bit better. Like we don't actually need college. And then we had inflation and then we had AI and it's like there's a lot of things that are stacking up against like yeah, I don't know if I want to sign my kid, especially like, you're talking like if kids are going to school like, like my kids 18, 20 years from now, what is college on the current pace that college what are we talking about? $100,000 a year? You're going to come out
Dude, the
with
cost of it, yeah.
$500,000 in debt so that you can go and get a $85,000 entry level job so that you could be in like
It's
that makes
not
no sense
the
at all.
math's
That
not
makes
mathing
no
on it,
sense.
man. It's like it's one of those things where not that it God, maybe it is, but it's like almost fraud. Like it reminds me of like fraud. We were told a certain story of doing a certain thing to do a certain this, and like everybody else got their pockets lined at the schools to not have the same outcome of like a 4 year degree and what you're supposed to do. Like if you went to a 4 year college, if you got a 4 year college degree, you were guaranteed. They were sold. This is like the fraud. Sold like the American dream. You're gonna be able to buy a home. You're gonna be able to, have kids, etc. Live a successful life, dude. That is so not the case. Like it is not the case, and AI is just amplifying it even more. So we'll have to see. But dude, talking about even doctors, I don't think I told you this. So I've been going through some stuff to be proactive about healthcare for myself with my scoliosis, etc. I get some shoulder pain, so I go have an appointment with one of the sports medicine people. um, Not helpful really at all with the scoliosis stuff because they're kind of more looking at like, you have a specific injury, do we need to operate or not? They looked at the shoulder and he told me like the word for it. Um, what did he call it? Like fucking some scoliosis or some shit like that. Most likely caused from, um, spine changes. But like, it's nothing crazy. But he literally pulled out his computer thing right there and Googled it and went through the fucking AI overview with me. And like, oh, here's the symptoms. Here's the thing that you can be doing. I'm like, did the doctor just like Google search me for the doctor? Like, what is the point here?
That
Like,
is insane.
I was just like, you're a nice guy, but
And you're going to pay the same amount that you would pre AI. So it's like, what are
like
we doing?
maybe I could have just put those symptoms in there and I just didn't know the right word of what I need to look up. But you unlocked it, so then you give me that. I was just like, dude, don't show me a Google. Like, because they always complained before about like, oh, what they used to call it? Like, oh, you're Google, playing Google Doctor, and then the doctor does the Googling to pull up the information about it. I'm like, dude, I was blown away. I'm like, yeah, this healthcare system's broken.
That's insane.
So like, dude, even becoming a doctor at that point, unless it's like hands on, your arms off, and your surgery, and you're going to an ER, and you need immediate attention. Like, dude, anything like proactive, I just don't think it's like, dude, I don't think it's even needed, dude. You need a robot can tell you that. Give me a couple scans, give me the analysis, and it's like, So I think
You
they're
need
even at jeopardy too.
you need some people to do the scans, and that's about it. And then it's like just let the
Not even
robot take
then, dude. You
over.
just like go sit in, get a robot to draw your blood and give a CAT scan and whatever. I don't. I think they're at jeopardy too. Uh, you know, it's yeah. I don't know
Let
what
me
it's gonna be
just
like when I'm in my 80s and I'm like
let me just show
healthcare
you
wise.
two quick things about higher education because like this is so interesting, and I knew there was like some of these data points out there. Let me just show you this. This is fascinating. Screen share.
I think while you're pulling that up too, we've talked about this a bit before, but VC people buying service companies, you know, $3 to $10 million service companies, they're doing it for a reason. But let's see
Oh,
this data.
because that's the growth. This is interesting. Between 93 and 2009, administration positions in higher education grew 60%, 10 times faster than faculty growth. Um, from 1975 to 2005, administrators increased 85% with administrative staff up 240. This is what's really interesting when they compare that between enrollment. Between 76 and 2018, student enrollment grew by 78%. Full-time admins increased
Yeah,
164%.
dude, it's corruption right there.
That is absurd. And then this dude broke this down. in Washington. Since 2008, student enrollment in Washington's public colleges has declined. Yet administrative staffing has grown by more than 50%. Look at this. Look at this chart he pulled through. Administrators from 2000. This is like Washington State higher
Good
education.
Lord.
Admin up 52%, faculty up 32%. I don't know what the difference between admin and faculty is, but like employed folks like up a combined 85%. Students past year down 11 minus 10%. So students are on a major decline since like 2010, yet the staff is just skyrocketing.
Wow. That
How
is an
absurd is that?
amazing graph.
You know what else is just so frustrating about that whole system is like there's just no like they have no skin in the game, these higher education like colleges and university, like whatsoever. You are going to pay them 100 million percentile. You're going to pay them no matter if you get a job or not, if you're able to be successful or not. It does not matter. There is no outcome whatsoever. You're going to pay them. But like you could like graduate and like just not be able to get employed for whatever reason, and like you still have to pay them back.
What is
Like there's no alignment between what they're doing tied to like your outcome.
It's even more because education debt you can't go bankrupt on.
No, you can't. You cannot
Why is
declare
that?
bankruptcy.
Can we ask?
Probably because there's just so much
Let's-
money there.
Let's
You know
ask
what
our
I mean?
non-sponsor ChatGPT.
Like
Oh,
why you can't
yeah.
default on a college student loan or
Yeah.
declare bankruptcy on it.
Why can't you default loan on a
I want to say that's like the only thing that is like that. I don't know if there's anything else, but
can be defaulted or discharged. Why students'
hear
loans are
this.
hard to default out. They can't be default out as a student loan by not paying. That doesn't make it go away. In fact, it makes things get worse. Why student
Nice.
loans are hard to discharge. Student loans are treated differently from most other debts. You usually can't wipe them out of bankruptcy unless blah, blah, due to hardships, courts, blah, blah. Why these rules are so strict? Student loans are often backed by the government. They're given without credit checks or collateral. Policymakers prevent from borrowing immediate discharge of the debt. I want to ask,
You're not going to get a real answer there. If we're being honest, it's just a scam. It is
why
100%
did,
a legalized scam.
I guess, when did government set in policy for this? I'm just curious, like, when did this happen? Discharge weren't created all at once. They were developed. So the first one was in 1976, first restricted introduction. Congress passed a law in 1976. Federal student loans couldn't be discharged from bankruptcy for the first 5 years after repayment began. 1990, waiting period extended from 5 to 7 years. 1998, there was a major shift. Congress removed the time limit entirely from federal student loans. After this, they could only be discharged if proved under undue hardship.
Nice.
This seems very unfair. Why would we do this?
Steve, we got to look out for the bankers, dude. We got to look out for the banks. You know what I mean?
Let's see. The government made it strict, prevent abuse of the system. Oh, they're preventing abuses. And lawmakers worry about students who take loans, graduate, immediately file for bankruptcy, then wipe them out. Protects taxpayers' money. Federal student loans are backed by the government. Keeps them away with it. Okay, let's ask.
Steve, it's unfair.
Can you go?
And we're protecting the taxpayer dollar.
What?
Government really cares about that.
In theory, let's see. Let me ask. Theorize conspiracy theories around why this is what it is. Let's see. Theorize kind of helps with ChatGPT to break through. Oh God, this is so funny. It's fine to explore theories. They won't say conspiracy theories. It's important to keep them clearly in the realm of speculation, not fact. There's no solid evidence that coordinates with conspiracy theories, but people often interpret the policy this way. This is bullshit. Debt as a control of mechanism. Keeping people in long-term student debt makes them easier to control economically. Not bad. Governments and universities benefiting together. Easy access to loans. Hard to escape, allow colleges to raise tuition aggressively. And another one is financial industry. Banks and loan servicers benefit from long-term interest payments, lobbied to discharge. The system was intentionally designed to move financial risk away from government and universities to the individuals. I mean, these all sound pretty theoretical of things that we've seen in the government do and other industries do. Yeah. Yeah. Student debt slows wealth building for younger generations. It's like, hey, how do we fuck the next generation? That's all we have to do. Like,
While these
yeah.
universities sit on like billions of dollars of endowment funds.
Now let's ask: Was this voted on? Was this voted on by the public? I don't remember voting on this.
Sure,
No,
well,
these rules are not voted
they
directly
know
by the
better than
public.
you, Steve. Come on, they
Oh,
know
they have
better.
the Congress. They passed it. But we
They know
hire our
better.
Congress members, so they voted on behalf of us, and then the
I
president
respect
too.
that.
Yeah,
They know better, dude.
yeah,
They're much
yeah.
better.
Dude, that is insane to me. Like that's the only debt. I mean, yet companies can go do wild things, get loans, and then file bankruptcy.
Yeah, but like if you had a student, you know what I mean, like you're 18 years old, like unless like you got like VC or private equity capital that you raised, like you're never going to get like an SBA loan at that age, or like that's going to be like insanely difficult, and you're going to have to produce a bunch of documents. You're going to have a business plan, like,
There,
but
dude,
you
there
could just
has
be a
to be a
college student, like, yeah,
documentary
sure, I'll
out.
go here.
Dude, there has to be a documentary on this, like the biggest fraud ever sold to America.
The thing that I just don't understand about that and like those types of things, like when you think about like, like just getting everybody like in debt forever, and then also like just like some environmental pollutions, like fluoride in the water, and just like other topics like that. When you think about like, it just seems like the average common person just gets screwed at every possible turn. I just don't understand the long term vision there. Like, if you were a person that you're like, you know what, like I want to be in power, wouldn't you want your populace to be like strong, healthy, and intelligent, and like a country full of just like studs? You know what I mean? Like, why would you want to enslave people to debt and all of these other things? Like, I get there's like a power play there, but wouldn't you want, you know what I mean? It's like if you're a GM of a team, you want LeBron on your team. Like, you don't want like some like non-athlete on your team. I just don't, that concept. I just don't like the long-term macro zooming
Yeah.
out picture there. I just don't get that.
Yeah, I don't get it either, man.
It doesn't add up. And you think about other conspiracies of like, like COVID and the vaccine and stuff like that, and like whatever ticks being released by like the CIA. That's an actual fact. Like, that's not a conspiracy. That's 100% fact. CIA released ticks into the wild. It's like, why would you do that to your population?
This is when we get into the weird fuzzy realm of like this happens all over the place in all different industries. Like this same kind of pattern. You're like, yeah, it's mind boggling.
You know what
But
I mean, though? Like, wouldn't
yeah,
you want your people to be like
yeah.
healthy and happy and motivated?
Eh,
Like,
It's tough because I mean the United States is a great place to live, but there are so many bad things. Like, could you imagine if these things were fixed or changed or looked at differently, even a fraction of it? Like, how much even better this can be? Because the
I
United
know.
States is always the one that's like, oh, because that argument is like, oh, where are you going to move to? You got pretty good. I agree. I probably don't want to move anywhere else. But it's like it's tough when it's like status quo could be better, and you blatantly see that it could be better. And that I think is it's just not good enough. Like, why not be better? You know, it's tough. Yeah.
What would your guess be? Maybe we could end on this. Like, what would your guess be as to why?
Why?
I don't think it's like a malicious thing. Maybe it is for sure. There's probably some people in power that's definitely like a malicious thing of like, hey, you can get everybody in debt. It's like they're easier to control for longer, and this, that, and the third. I kind of feel like it's honestly more so of like people in power just losing touch with reality. Like, you end up getting in power, you get a bunch of money, so like you're going to like private clubs, you're going to private country clubs, you're getting invited to like all these beautiful places for parties and events, and like the crowd of people that you hang out with are all extremely successful, and like your day-to-day reality is really nice, and like you probably just like lose touch with like the common person, and like you don't really think about how X, Y, and Z affects other people. And that's probably like a cascading effect of like so many people make decisions that hurt their constituents that long term lead to a ton of bad things that they just don't really think about. It's like not top of mind. Like, I don't know if it's like this grand conspiracy of like, hey, like all these elites are in power and they're doing all this stuff to control the populace. maybe it's like, hey, we just like live a whole different lifestyle than normal people do. And like we have a great life and like we're not even thinking about these other things. And it doesn't really
Yeah.
almost like catch up to them. And it's like a ton of those decisions over years and decades lead to the situation that we're currently in now. But I don't know if that was like a thought out plan. I think it was probably like a lot of micro decisions along the way.
Yeah, dude, I agree with that. I would say maybe that's 50% of it, and the other percent, I do think there's just some
Just
evil,
scum.
just evil people.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I think it's there. And so I think those the people are probably easily manipulated across the board, and this is what you get. You know, no,
It's
it's
just
tough.
so interesting. It's just like such an interesting concept to think about there.
Yeah, dude, and it's like, how do you change it? It seems like you can't. It's so massive and so big.
No, no.
I don't know how. I don't. Dude, like participating locally and then going from there, but it's like, where does that lead you?
I know.
Maybe
I
we
know.
weren't even meant to, man, to fuck with all this, and it just is what it is. I don't know.
I know.
Because there's so many things that could be just a little bit better, like in best interest. Like there's so many things that I just know that the government just does not have your best interest at heart. And I wouldn't have said that maybe 10 years ago, but I think there's just so much stuff, especially after COVID, that just like opening the door. They're just like, oh, yeah, okay, there is really no best interest. There's been talks about it before. But now it's like, man, no, you can fully see it blatantly. And it's like an elephant in the room that nobody will acknowledge. And you kind of feel like, am I going crazy? There's an elephant right there, right? Oh, no, 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 there isn't. You're like, no, there is. And it's like, well, I guess if they're not going to acknowledge it, then they don't have to fix it.
I hope it does. I really do. I really hope it does because it's like, I think the thing that's freaky to think about, talking about like, you know, 20 years from now, like what college prices are, just like thinking about like 20 years from now, like what is anything cost, like what
Yeah.
do eggs cost in 20 years? Are people paying $15 for a carton of eggs at like a grocery store and stuff like that? Like just all of those things. It's like, where does
Yeah.
all of this go unless something changes? It's like not, I don't know. It's
I don't
not
know.
very
Maybe someone got a better idea than us. I don't know. But I got to go. I got to call.
all right. That's just a good place
It's
to
kind of
do
shutting it down because I'm over. I can't talk about it anymore. I'm going to get pissed off.
it. All right.
All
Well,
right,
have a good
dude.
time, man.
Thanks,
All right.
everyone.
Later, y'all.